Hey everybody, George Moorhead, Bentley Properties, and today we're going to talk about a specific property, kind of how we, in a very, I would say, rude form of analyzing it, and then we're going to figure out, okay, so what would we have to purchase this at? Again, my name, George Moorhead with Bentley Properties, been practicing for 27 years, and which seems like a long time, but anyway, we've closed over 2,000 residential and commercial transactions. We can give you some great feedback. Again, everything here today is free to you. There's no strings attached, including some of the information. We'll just go over that. Today, as we go through this, if you have questions, definitely post them up in the corner for us. Give us a wow or even a, I guess that's a heart. Let us know how we're doing. And like last week, we had a bunch of really good questions, and I'll be able to address some of those either next week or whatnot. Now, I know we said we were going to have a couple of people here. The challenge is we weren't able to get people here because of sports and kids things and schedule last minute vacation still. So we will have it, and if I can, I'm going to get a panel of 2 or 3 so that you guys can hear from real investors, and if you want, you can ask questions. I will ask questions, and this way you can hear from people like myself who are doing this every single day as far as looking at and figuring out, is this something that I really want to do? Where is the benefit? Where's the risks? And how does this really pencil out? So with that, a couple of disclaimers. Today, we're going to talk about a property that is active on the market. I'm going to turn this so you really can't see it. The Northwest MLS, which is the multiple listing service, which is where, if you think about it, if all the, if we have this bucket and all of the agents put their listings in this bucket, we call this the Northwest MLS. And we have rules. And one of those really important rules is that I cannot market somebody else's listing. So I can't give you the address on this Facebook Live. However, if you text Kent to 206-496-0545, I will leave that up on the board. Text Kent on your smartphone to 206-496-0545. This word right there will actually give you that link, all right, to this property. Now that I can do because now it is considered private instead of public. So with that, I won't give you the address here on the video. Again, if you want to know what it is live, it is active today. Today happens to be September 7th. It is a bank-owned piece of property. It has been on the market for 43 days, which tells me it's overpriced. Understand, it is better to look at fixers in a lot of different ways, only because banks push price. That's all there is to it. They know we're one of the 5 sweet spots across the United States. And if we're one of the 5 sweet spots, why should they discount? They'll come in, they'll try just say, hey, can I do this? Or they do what I recommend, paint, carpet, and vinyl, and they will go ahead and then get that property on the market and it'll sell. We still have a limited inventory. So keep this in mind as we're going through this today. Okay, so this property, as I said, is in Kent, and it is a 1-story with a basement. It is a true fixer. There you go. Text that, you can get it, or you can request it from us, all right? Up in the comment box, just say, hey, I'm really interested in this. We'll send you the link. I can do that. That's not marketing a piece of property that somebody else has listed. So it's always good to play within the rules, being that I'm also a disciplinary chair on many cases with the Northwest MLS. Don't need to punish myself. All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this. So they had it listed at $299,000. Let's call it $300,000. Then they reduced it down to $290,000, which is really exciting. Now, you might look at this and say, okay, well, what do I need to purchase this at? How do I look at it? Well, we need to reverse engineer the entire process, all right? I'll try not to move around so much. I see my screen's changing a bit here. All right. We need to reverse engineer it and I'm going to make some assumptions. In fact, here's my legal disclaimer. What we're going to cover today in a few minutes is a class that we teach that is 5 days, 5 8-hour days. So my disclaimer is this. Please understand, these are estimates only. There are certain things we will not take into an account. I am not taking into account your tax bracket. I am not taking into account your rate of return. I'm going to estimate a rate of return. I am not taking into account any other legal implications as far as permits and things like that, because I don't know what they are, because I physically did not visit this specific home. I did look at it online. I did get some preliminary information, which is going to be good enough to give you guys an understanding. There we go. So do not use this information and go out and buy this house based on this. There are other things that need to be taken into consideration, but it will also be very clear on how to prove a point. Okay? All right. So with that disclaimer being said, let's go through this. So if we know that, and I did a little bit of homework, if we know that this is a 4-bedroom, I think it's 1.34, yeah, it's a 4-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath. It's 1990 square feet. So let's just call it 2,000 square feet for simple, right? It was actually built, I believe, in 1951. It was built in 1951. Sits on a really good size lot, 10,000 square feet. It sits in Kent. It's surrounded by what we will call newer, there's infiltration. There's newer homes, newer plots that are going in around it, which will help price. However, really based on this home, it's going to cap out really at about, I put it at 385. There's a couple of other homes that are in the low 4s that are much better value, okay? They're newer construction. They're just nicer, okay? The styles and trends, remember we talked about that. Styles and trends and location have a massive impact on value. So one of the biggest challenges that an investor has is they overestimate what they can get this home, what they can sell the home for. And then they over improve it. And then they don't know how to price it, and then they hold it too long. And then all of a sudden they're in the red. And those are probably the biggest pitfalls of an investor. Don't fall into that trap. That's why you're watching this. Be conservative with your numbers, all right? Purchase price, or sales price, I should say, we're going to estimate roughly at about $385,000, okay? So my board is moving. So let's go with sales price, all right? We're going to go with $385,000. Whoops, there we go. That was a nice recovery. All right. That is our target. So now we have to reverse engineer this backwards in order to get what you want. So if you really want to get like a 15% return, to get that 15% return, basically you're going to be at about $50,000, $48,000. So the return that you're going to want is going to be $48,000, and that's roughly a 15% return. Okay? That's based on the sales price. Now, we know that we have taxes, and if you guys see, remember I said you need to have a system. You can see that I was drawing and filling that out. I also have this one here, which is a deeper format, which takes me all the way through my taxes, what my capital gains are, whether it's short-term or long-term. In this case, we're only talking a 4-month hold, so we're going to talk about a short-term gain. And so these are things that we work with to say, really does this pencil out? What purchase price do we need to be at? Okay, so we estimated, actually I didn't have to estimate, so we know that your taxes for the full year are going to be $36.71 for the year. So if we cut that in half, that's $1,530. So let's just go with that. So let's figure, I'm just going to round up. Let's figure you have $1,600 in taxes, right, for 6 months. With that, we're going to have insurance. I'll put that over here. Okay, and insurance, according to Jeff Rinkert is a farmer's insurance guy. He is a 10++ guy. If you need insurance, you want to get a second quote, you need to talk to Jeff. Awesome sauce, he gets you good numbers. He also brokers out so he can get you better pricing and things like that. The small things add up. So roughly on this house, we're looking at $1,500. Now, that is going to be for a 1-year policy. So if you sell it within 6 months or whatnot, sometimes they will discount, but most of the time, because it's not owner occupied, you're flipping or whatnot, that is going to be your start point for insurance. Now, on this house, now I know that I can't show it to you, but I can show you some things. So if I cover the address, and that's it right there, and that big blue on the side there, that's what we call the blue tarp roof. So that tells us we need a roof. So the roof easily is going to run you about $12,000. You might say, well, gosh, George, at $400 a square is 10 by 10, you know, the roof's not that big. Yeah, but you probably have some truss damage, you've got some insulation, we know that we got some sheetrock, you know, we might have some mold remediation, probably highly probable, okay? Might even have some lead-based paint based on the age of the house, guaranteed 1951. Guaranteed you're going to have lead-based paint, might as well just remediate it, which means scrape it, paint it, right? That's all you need to do. Okay, so within reason. Let's figure $12,000 for a roof under our expenses, okay? So we have our roof, and that's going to be $12K. Flooring, because it needs all new flooring, and it is a one-story with a basement, so we have main flooring, we have bathrooms, we have kitchen. We're going to go with contractor grade, builder grade products. We're not going hog wild. We're not doing anything special. Nothing fancy on this, right? It's a $385,000 house. I don't mean that, you know, if you own a $385,000 house, I'm not knocking your house. I'm just saying you don't have the room to make that adjustment unless you get the price down further, and then there's that unrealistic, you know, seller price that they're willing to consider. So let's just be real, and we know we're going to do builder grade products. So flooring, we have estimated roughly about $7,800. Then we have our kitchen. The kitchen, which you can't tell, but if you go to the link or you request the link, you can actually see this. You know, you know, the cabinets actually aren't bad. You could paint the cabinets and save a ton of money, about $10,000 to be exact. You paint the cabinets. They have this new product that goes over finish. They appear to be in really good shape. They're the typical, you know, maple plywood type cabinets. You've seen them 100 times in older homes. You could leave them, dress them up. You could do a lot of different things. Put a simple countertop on it, leave it alone. Because we estimated the kitchen at about $18,000, which does include some very basic builder grade appliances, meaning a dishwasher, a microwave, maybe, and a stove. That's it. Refrigerator. Again, I would probably leave that one out and negotiate that as an option. You can include it if you've got one, or you can get one inexpensive enough, but many times that's better of a negotiated item. So if we figure and we keep this consistent, because we want to go worst case scenario, if we know that we have a kitchen remodel at $18,000, which is going to be, again, a very basic kitchen, we have a bathroom. Now, one of the bathrooms is pretty catastrophic. The other one can be cleaned up pretty well. But we budgeted $7,500. That's what I thought. Where am I at here? So bathroom, plural, $7,500. Okay. Then we have some paint. We've got a little bit of sheetrock, things like that. We went ahead and we gave an estimate to paint, do all of this, keep it simple. And this is on the interior only, with $7,000. Okay, am I looking there? Okay, it's kind of hard to write down there. Then we have some utilities that we have to add into this. So when we figure that we've got some utility costs, we're budgeting roughly about $2,000 for that. Let me just add some zeros. That makes it easier. With that, we also figured that we have some studies to do based on the roof. We were going to do a mold test and potential remediation. And the test alone is going to be roughly about $1,500, plus or minus, could be a little bit less, depending on what you see. Then, of course, the grounds need some maintaining. You got to make it look pretty. Okay? Here's the thing. The man might be the head of the household. This is a sexist comment, sorry. The man might be the head of the household, but the woman's the neck. The neck turns the head. So understand, you need to make this look nice. You need to make it so that when people drive up to this house, they look at it and say, hey, that's a pretty cute looking house. I like that. That's nice. You don't want them to roll up and look at that and go, holy smokes, keep going. Pedal on the right. Yeah, that's not what you want. So you're going to have to put some money into what we call street appeal. give it a little candy, all right? And make sure that, when the people drive up, it invites them to want to take a further look into the home. So with that, we gave landscaping, or grounds, as we call it. We gave it roughly about a $2,000 budget. It's going to give us a little bit of cleanup to give it a haircut. It's going to give it a little color as far as maybe some bark dust or some beauty bark, maybe some nice little flowers this time of year, maybe do some mums, because mums the word. Kidding. Let's see here. So with that, that gives us a total cost. So when we come over here, I have my expenses at a shy $57,500. Now, some of you who are a little bit more experienced in this might say, George, that's pretty cheap. I understand. We're keeping things very build to grade, and we're making a few assumptions, but probably not far off base if you do the mantra, paint, carpet, and vinyl. Keep it simple. Do not over-personalize a house. You will never get that money back. Okay, so now let's run this out. So the home was technically listed, what did we say it was? $289? Yeah, $289. So let's just call it $290, right? So the list price, let's just call it what it is, it's $290,000. Now, a bank doesn't care that you are going to flip this and make it nice and pretty. They think that they're going to attract a buyer at this price. They might. Who knows? The sad part is there's a lot of work that is needed, and less than 10% of the people can see value through something. And therefore, that price is probably going to have, well, it's going to have to come down, just based on my personal opinion. That is my opinion. How's that? Okay, so based on my personal opinion, when we start running the numbers backwards, if we know that we want a 15% return, we know that our sales price is going to be around $385, we're going to have some basic closing costs, okay? So already at this point, I'm going to put in brackets our little purchase price so you can see how this goes down. Already at our price here, we're at $269,750, $269,750. When I add my closing costs, which is going to include only a 2.5%, let me get back in the picture, only a 2.5% closing costs. That's going to be your hard cost. 1.78% is going to go to your excise tax. Then you're going to have title, escrow, recording fees, things like that. You need to budget. No commissions if you have to work with a real estate agent to get this sold again. This is if you sell it on your own, you're not paying any commissions at all. That is what part of this number goes in. You're going to see then how this translates, right? Okay, so with that, at 2.5%, so if our closing costs estimate on this one was $9,625. Let's just call it $9,600, just for easy numbers, okay? That then takes us down to, well, I can tell you, it's $260,000, right? Yeah. Gives you an idea. There we go. Okay, now we're going to add our loan costs into it. So if we figured that we were paying 3 points and 9% interest, okay? Again, if somebody had asked for Seattle Funding, if you need Seattle Funding's phone number, they're a great option for this. There's also one other company in Kirkland, Verifund, which is absolutely another great company. Let us know, and then you guys can talk to them about what the requirements are, what kind of assets you need to show as leverage and things like that. Again, because it's risk, right? Okay, they're not going to take the property as risk. So they don't want the property. Okay, let's see here. So loan costs. So if we figure that our price right here, just as a hard cost there, we're going to go ahead and figure that's going to be, you're going to have 7,800 in points. And if you hold for 4 months, interest only, which was 1,900 and change, that actually worked out to, again, another 7,800. I thought that was really funny, right? Interest only. Okay. That now then gets you down to all of this considered, down to a purchase price, maximum purchase price, $244,400. Okay, I'm rounding some things, but that's going to give you your general basis. Okay, that's conservative numbers. That doesn't take into consideration, commissions. If you end up paying, say, 5% in commissions, you have to run your numbers by that. You're looking at roughly about just shy of $20,000 in commissions. Now you're down to $220,000. Mind you, the bank wants $290,000. So the reality is there going to be ground here for you to cover? Probably not. Not as an investor. As a homeowner, okay, well, that's a different game. If you're saying, hey, I really like this area. In fact, I think that's a pretty cool house. What would I need to invest in that to have a 15% return? Or, what's my sweat equity? Well, there you go. Now you have some better numbers to work with. It gives you some very good insights of what to expect. Now, again, if you're going to home own this, you can probably take out your points and whatnot. You're going to do a rehab loan, more than likely. We talked about that last week with Dan Golden. Dan Golden at Cornerstone, he gave you some great insights, some good pricing. And if you need his contact number, we'll post it. We'll put it up on the side. You can text me, call me, email me. Just let me know. And this is going to give you basically a 15% return on a conservative level. Realistically, if I was looking at this, what would I have to buy this at? My max price would have to be around $215, $210 tops to get a 15% return. And you might say, George, that's not realistic. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. REOs right now don't make a lot of sense. Bank-owned homes don't make a lot of sense. There's more flexibility. There's more latitude with other types of homes. Hey, your September tax sales for King County, Pierce, for most of Washington State are coming up. Why don't you take a look at some of those? If you need information, we can send you the website. There's another good opportunity. Do your homework, okay? With that, if you have any other questions, ping me back. Again, my disclaimer, understand this is a very simplistic element of analyzing one piece of property, okay? And what you would have to look at. If you want to see the property specific, text Kent, that's where the city of the property is, to 206-496-0545, okay? And you'll get that. You're only going to get the one email or one text message, okay? And it's automated. You're not going to get us responding to you. You're just going to get that. So don't worry, we're not going to hunt you down. Anyway, if you have any other questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed this. Next week, we're going to delve into, again, more of the methodology. And then we're going to transfer into, hopefully with a couple of investors, and tell you their experiences, the pros and the cons. And then we're going to actually talk about what I feel is a better opportunity, which are multifamily, looking at duplexes, how they pencil against single family. Should I buy a rental property, things like that. We will delve into that. Again, it's going to be multiple episodes because there's so much to cover. All right. So with that, if you have any questions, let me know. You can text us, call us, email us, post a question. We'll go ahead and respond to them. We respond to all of the questions that come in. So if you have a question you feel is kind of silly, don't worry about it. Just ask. All right. I'm a fun guy. And in the meantime, you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Take care.